The round of 16 is set at the 2024 Wimbledon Championships, and there has been a lot of upsets, and I'm gonna go through my draw later and show you some of the clutch picks that I made, so stay tuned until the end of the video. But for me, the highlight of this Wimbledon was the Andy Murray and Jamie Murray doubles match. I saw the most touching tennis video. It was the Andy Murray tribute on the Wimbledon YouTube channel. When I watched this, I got goosebumps. It was the most beautifully made tennis video ever. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend that you watch it. I'm going to link it in the description below. Everything about this video was perfect. The fact that Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic were in the video. Also Venus Williams, who spoke beautifully. The fact that the song Creep from Radiohead, sung by a choir of some sort, was playing in the background, I immediately got goosebumps. This video encapsulated everything that is great about the player Andy Murray, but also the person Andy Murray. He played in the toughest era of all time and managed to take the most important titles: 3 Grand Slams, the year-end championships, 2 Olympic golds, and to me the most impressive stat is that he was able to win 14 Master Series titles. See, Andy Murray was often labeled as dull and boring, and as I got to know him more as a person throughout all these years, I think he's actually one of the funniest guys on tour. He writes the funniest comments on social media underneath other players' videos, more specifically younger English players. But see, a lot of people don't know this, and I'm so happy that on the on-court interview after Jamie and Andy lost their first round doubles match, Andy was so funny in that interview. It was one of the best on-court interviews that I've ever seen. And if you haven't seen it, it's on YouTube as well. I highly recommend that you check it out. To me, this was the perfect ending to Andy Murray's Wimbledon career, playing his last match alongside his brother on center court. However, Andy texted Emma Raducanu and asked her to play mixed. And when I saw this initially, I didn't really like the idea because there is a chance that Emma Raducanu might pull out if she goes deep in a tournament. And this is unfortunately exactly what happened. Emma pulled out because of the tough scheduling. There was a lot of rain this week in Wimbledon, and she would have had to play the mixed match with Andy today and then play her singles match tomorrow. And she had some soreness or stiffness in her wrist, and she didn't want to risk it and pulled out of the mixed. Now, naturally, Emma gets a tremendous amount of hate on social media anyway, but especially now that she pulled out of Andy Murray's last Wimbledon, people are criticizing her a lot. And here's what I think about the situation. I'm a big Emma Raducanu supporter. I made a video about her, giving her a lot of support, talking about the fact that she's unfairly being criticized. And if she truly feels stiffness in her wrist, like I said, it makes a lot of sense to pull out of the mixed. However, and I've said this before, if there are any parents watching or any younger players watching, I want you to realize that you can gain a lot of benefits from playing doubles. Not only can this benefit your game technically, tactically, you're going to be forced to do things that you maybe don't do in singles. This can tremendously benefit your singles game. But it's more than that. When you lose in singles at a tournament, you're going to be distraught and you're going to leave immediately. And you're going to leave that tournament with a bad feeling. However, if you lose in singles, but you are still in doubles and you end up winning some doubles matches, you're going to leave that tournament with more confidence and with a better mental state. Perfect example is Coco Gauff. She plays a lot of singles and doubles. She lost in the French Open semis, ended up winning the French Open doubles, and I'm sure she felt a lot better about the French Open after winning the doubles compared to leaving after losing in the semifinals of the singles. Another reason why doubles can be beneficial to singles is the fact that you're putting in the reps. John McEnroe admitted that he used doubles as practice. See, a lot of people that were defending Emma in the comments after she had pulled out of the mixed were writing that she is prioritizing singles. Now, if you are of the belief that doubles can benefit your singles, then you are not prioritizing singles by not playing doubles. Now, of course, when we're talking about the men, if they're playing best of 5, it makes a lot of sense to prioritize singles because you can exhaust yourself by spending too many hours on the court. There's no doubt about that. But like Andy Roddick said on the Served podcast. Tennis players train all their life to be able to play consecutive matches. Andy said, you don't need an extra day of rest at Master Series tournaments, something that's been introduced this year, if you win your match 2-2. You could easily play another match that same day, but you can definitely play consecutive matches on each day. And when it comes to the women, history has shown that there has been a lot of players who can have success in singles and simultaneously in doubles. Why? Because they only play best of 3. And the perfect current example of that is Coco Gauff, and I think she benefits a lot from playing doubles and is a better singles player because of it. All right, guys, now as promised, let's take a look at some of my amazing picks. Let me tell you, I was on absolute fire regarding the men's draw. All right, guys, take a look at the top. Sinner in the 4th round against Shelton. This was kind of a tricky pick because Ben hasn't really been playing well this grass court season. But Ben is such a phenomenal player. He's so dangerous, one of the best servers in the world. He broke the Wimbledon serve speed record. He served 153 in his match against Shapovalov. And I actually think that this is going to be a very tricky match for Sinner. Their head-to-head is 2-1. Shelton beat Sinner at the Shanghai Masters last year, and the other 2 matches that Ben lost to Sinner were tight 2-set matches. All right, on to the next 4th round match. We have Dimitrov against Medvedev. I'm not surprised that Medvedev came through. While grass is not his favorite surface, he made the semis last year, and I think he's going to keep getting better on grass and get more comfortable on the surface. But I'm sticking with my prediction that Dimitrov is going to take out Medvedev and reach the quarters. I'm not surprised that Humbert made it to the 4th round. He was the best grass court player in this section. However, against Alcaraz, I don't think he stands much of a chance. Tiafoe played a phenomenal match against Alcaraz in the 3rd round, lost in 5 sets. Hopefully this will help Francis with his confidence and he's going to be able to turn his season around. I am disappointed with Bublik. He lost in straight sets to Tommy Paul. I predicted Bublik to go into the quarterfinals. I think Bublik has so much potential, especially on grass. But the problem is that there's just not enough consistency. He often lacks the ability to put good consecutive matches together or consecutive good tournaments. So it's just a matter of getting more consistent, and I think Bublik can be at least a top 10 player in the future if he improves his mental game. On the very bottom, this is an extremely clutch pick. I picked Bautista Agut to go in the 4th round. A lot of people had picked Sonego to make it to the 4th round. But since Bublik is out and now it's Paul against Bautista Agut, I don't think that Paul is going to lose this match, and Paul will reach the quarterfinals. He's playing extremely well on grass. This section right here is an absolute disaster for me because Rublev lost in the 1st round. He did not play well. Now, Korda was supposed to play Davidovich Fokina in the 1st round, who was replaced by Pericard. And I recently made a video about the Pericard serve. I highly recommend that you check it out. He has the potential to be one of the greatest servers in the world and is extremely dangerous on the grass. Would I have picked Pericard over Korda if I would have known that he was going to be in Davidovich's spot? I'll be honest, probably not. I probably still would have picked Korda. I think Korda has so much potential. But ever since Korda announced that he's one of the favorites for the Wimbledon title, he lost in the 1st round 2 years in a row. So it makes absolutely no sense to me why you would put additional pressure on yourself. I think Korda jinxed himself, but he did well in those lead-up tournaments on grass, and he is a phenomenal grass court player who potentially had the unluckiest draw in history by getting a lucky loser who's one of the most dangerous guys in the entire draw. I think Pericard will reach the quarters by beating Musetti, despite the fact that Musetti's been playing so good on grass this year, reaching the finals in Queens, semifinals in Stuttgart. I really like Pericard on grass. He's going to have chances to do some real damage at this tournament, not only this year, but in the future as well. This next section was easy to call because both Fritz and Zverev are by far the best players in this group. I do, however, feel that Fritz is playing extremely well on grass, won the tournament in Eastbourne, has been playing good tennis in the first 3 rounds. I think Fritz not only makes the quarters, but he's going to go in the semis. Hurkacz was one of the favorites to go very deep in this tournament. I picked him to go in the quarterfinals, but he got hurt. So now the favorite is going to be De Minaur to go through. And on the very bottom, we have Djokovic against Rune. Djokovic is not playing his absolute best tennis, but against Papirin, he played so far his best match, and it looks like his movement is becoming more stable and more comfortable in each match he plays. So let's summarize. I got Sinner Shelton correct, Dimitrov Medvedev correct, Alcaraz Humbert correct. I got Batista good here. I didn't get Paul. Musetti Pericard, obviously I got wrong. Fritz Zverev I got correct. Deminauer I got correct. And Hurkacz got hurt. And I got Djokovic and Rune correct. Guys, 12 out of 16 picked correctly in the 4th round. That's pretty impressive. Feel free to praise me down in the comments, and I will see you in the next video. Just kidding. I am going to talk about the women. There were some unbelievable draw busters, and some players pulled out before the tournament even started. So let's see what's happening in the women's draw. Riga losing to Putintseva is a huge shock to me. And I already talked about this in my prediction video, but I'm going to repeat it again. I felt like 2024 was a great opportunity for Iga, simply for the fact that both Sabalenka and Rybakina, who are favorites over her on grass, had health issues. So I thought that Iga had a good draw, and we're going to get to that in a second, was enough for me to put her all the way through and get the Wimbledon title. However, having watched her play, she is not comfortable on the grass. And in the press conference, Iga said that she didn't rest well enough. And I'm uncertain what that means, because Iga did not play any warm-up tournaments on grass. So I think for Iga it's just a matter of playing more on grass, appreciating the surface, learning how to play on it. I do think that in the following years, when Rybakina is on the top of her game, when Sabalenka is on the top of her game, maybe if Coco continues to improve, it's going to continue to be very difficult for Iga to win this tournament. However, I felt like this year was the year where she had a chance. But it wasn't meant to be. She had a low energy match against Putintseva, played well in the first set, and then very low energy type tennis, a lot of unforced errors. And she lost the second set 6-1 and was down 5-1 in the 3rd set. Truly a shocking performance by Iga. All right, now let me talk about Ostapenko. So the reason why I picked Ostapenko to lose was for the fact that she played poorly in the warm-up tournaments leading up to Wimbledon, while Tomljanovic played extremely well. Now, I made a mistake because I didn't realize that Ostapenko won the doubles title in Eastbourne. So if I could take one prediction back, it would be this one. I wouldn't pick Tomljanovic over Ostapenko. This was a poor choice right here, because now Ostapenko, she blew Tomljanovic off the court. She's been playing so well. I think Ostapenko would have had a great chance to beat Iga as well. Iga has never beaten her. And quite frankly, I think Ostapenko has a pretty good chance to make the semifinals. On to the next section, I got this 3rd round correct. Collins beat Haddad Maia. Vondrousova lost in the 1st round. This was an absolute shocker. Collins plays Krejcikova. This is going to be a tough match, but I do think Collins is going to make it through. This section right here, I got correct. Rybakina against Kalinskaya. I picked Kalinskaya to cause the upset. Now that I've seen Rybakina play, I'm not so sure about that anymore, because Rybakina has been playing really well. And when she plays her best tennis, she's going to be the favorite to win the whole thing. On the bottom here is an absolute disaster. Pegula losing to Wang is an absolute shocker. Another mistake that I made was picking Linette to upset Svitolina. Svitolina reached the semifinals last year, but she has not been playing well in those lead-up tournaments, and I just did not think that she was going to be ready. But looking back now, I would want to change this one, because Svitolina not only beat Linette, she also beat Jabeur in the 3rd round, which is a big surprise. The bottom half is even more of a disaster. Initially, I had Sabalenka in the semis, but then I switched it to Zheng. Zheng lost in the 1st round to Lulu Sun, who will play Emma Raducanu. I did feel like Emma was playing well in the lead-up tournaments, and she is playing well. Emma has a real chance to make it into the semifinals, because it's going to be Vekic against Badosa in the quarters, against the winner of Raducanu and Sun. So one of these 4 players is going to be in the semifinals, and Emma could do it. My feeling is that Vekic is going to come through on this side. I did do a lot better on the very bottom. I got Paulini and Keys correct, and I did pick Schneider to go in the 4th round. She ended up losing to Emma Navarro. This is a big surprise. I did not think that Emma was going to beat Osaka, but she did. However, I think Coco is playing extremely well. I think she's going to beat Navarro, and Coco is going to go in the final. Let's see how these 4th round matches turn out, and I will see you guys soon.